Traded for Chris Paul, who opted in and made his wishes known. He wanted to play with James Harden. Here they both are with our Steve Smith.
We're ready to start off. CP3.
Yeah. What's happening?
Tell me why the Rockets and why playing with this guy.
You said why?
Yep.
I felt like my time in LA was time. It was time for a change. Not only for me, but maybe for the organization there. And after talking to this guy and looking at, what they had here, long conversation with Trevor Ariza, whatnot, this was the place I wanted to be.
James, playing with Chris. Both guys are two ball-dominant players. How do you think how's it going to work out?
I don't think it's ball dominant. I think we were in positions to where we had to, create for our team, and that's just what it was. And so you put two high IQ guys that are willing to pass and willing to sacrifice to do whatever it takes. And quite frankly, got the same, goal in mind, and that's, win a championship. It's definitely going to work.
Y'all spent a lot of time this summer. Was there anything you can tell me you learned about Chris off the court that you didn't know about? And the same for you about James off the court, before we even get on the court.
Yeah, man, he's similar to me. He likes to have fun, obviously. He's a really, really intelligent guy. I learned a lot from him, and in a business aspect. How he has everything, planned out together, planned out in his life. He's very, attention to detail, and so kind of use that in my day-to-day life as well.
Yeah, he said it all. Probably the biggest thing we got in common, we can't say no to French fries. Ooh, we. But he's sort of like me too, in that very like team and family oriented, like hates to be alone. I'm that same way, and we a lot of times always got people around us, and I think that's great for our team and our chemistry and different things like that. This summer, all the pickup games we played, everything that we've done, we've tried to be as inclusive as possible, and I think, well, hopefully that'll translate to the court.
On the court, James, what you've learned from all these pickup games, being around each other, just playing. Is there anything you learned that you haven't seen playing against Chris?
He's gonna do whatever it takes to win. He's a natural competitor, and obviously future Hall of Famer. He's had a great career, and he still has a long way to go. And I'm here to help him, reach his final goal.
Give me some of whatever it takes. Give me an example.
Scrappy. He's gonna foul you. He's gonna act like he's not fouling you. But he's smart, detailed. He can pass the hell out of the ball, but he thinks the game at another level, than everyone else.
Yeah, for him, I think making this transition or whatnot. It's been a lot this summer, and having my family with me and my brother who travels just about everywhere with me. It'd be crazy. We'd be playing the pickup games, and I'd turn to my brother sometimes, just shake my head, and I'd be like, because the game comes so easy for him. You know what I mean? How effortless it is for him to score and to do different things, and he can defend, and how much of a leader he is. And I think I'm just excited to be able to, at times, like, watch greatness. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta make sure, you don't get in awe of it and stuff like that, but it's my job to also make sure he doesn't turn any of that down. You know what I mean? Just make sure he keeps being what he is and more.
Talk to me about this offseason. Yoga, Pilates. Tell me about that. What's different?
Learning from this guy. I just used to go out there on the court and just hoop. But the way he takes care of his body, from stretching and his proper eating and yoga and Pilates and just all those things in one, is the reason why he's healthy and the way he looks, the way he is, and playing at a high level still. And so, for me, I just try to, this summer use that, take that serious, and my body feels better than it has in a minute.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, just like for me, I was fortunate enough, especially when I went out to LA, to play with different vets, whether it be Chauncey, and the guy that I still talk to all the time now, and I used to talk to all the time when we was on the same team, was Grant Hill. You know what I mean? And just talking to those guys about maintaining and taking care of your body. When you're 22 and 23, you don't think about none of that. You know what I mean? So me now, you know, being at 32 and having different guys that I've had opportunity to pay attention to, I don't know everything, but the little bit of stuff that I know or that I think I know, I'll try to pass it along to make sure that he, you know, keep killing the way he's been doing, you know, for years and beyond, because I'm going to need him to do it.
You look at this team, a lot of new faces. Obviously, probably offensively, y'all going to stay the same. What's some of the things you think you guys going to be able to tweak, James, now that Chris is involved in this type of offense, up and down and shooting threes?
I don't think there's anything needed to be tweaked. I think, you know, I think both of us are going to have opportunity to play off the ball a little bit more, which we probably haven't had. I'm not sure the last time he had in his career, and since I've been in Houston. So I think offensively that's going to be a key. That way we give each other opportunities to, you know, get rest a little bit more, get other guys involved offensively, and then defensively, we added not only Chris but you know PJ Tucker and Luke. Mm-hmm. So it gives us a little bit more versatility. You know, maybe if we want to switch or just a little bit more, you know, dog on the defensive end, and I think that's going to help us out as well.
Chris, a question for me is, you know, obviously when you were in New Orleans, you went through Hurricane Katrina, and now you guys going through Hurricane Harvey. What can you apply that you went through, you know, in New Orleans to what you can do with this franchise in this city, going through such devastating like that? Devastation.
You know, it's crazy because I keep going back to our communication and conversating, and that's what we do constantly. So when the hurricane occurred here, we talked about it, and I told him about my experiences in New Orleans, and we actually were displaced for 2 years in Oklahoma, and then when we came back, it's just a different connection to the city. And James has been here already and been here and stuff like that, but going through a tough experience like that with the city, I think it just brings everybody closer. When you get out there, you know who you're playing for. Right. You know who you're playing for, and I'm excited to get here and play for the city. But I know James, like he's been here, like his career took off here, so it's an unbelievable connection that he already has with the city, and hopefully we can make this season special.
James, what do you think is the role for an athlete? Everybody always talks about the role, especially for a star player like you guys both being in Houston. What's your role as an athlete to this city after going through something like this?
I don't consider myself just an athlete to the city. I feel like I'm a part of it, and whenever the city goes through anything, you know, I'm affected by it as well. So in a sense, I try to just give myself to the community, you know, just be as humble as I can, go out there and just do whatever it takes I can to make sure that, you know, that these people feel me. Not just the athlete, superstar James, but the normal James that when I'm in the house and I'm with my family James. So that's what I've tried to give to him, and that's what I'll continue to give to him, you know, as time goes on.
How disappointed for you guys that, you know, Melo, you know, everybody thought for sure he was coming here to Houston. You know, that was coming down to the end, and obviously was Knicks. Is the disappointment you guys not being able to acquire Melo?
I don't think disappointment is the word at all, because we have a great team, and I think the excitement is for Melo. You know what I mean? It's like a brother to me, and to see him happy, you know, that was the ultimate thing. And so for him to be going on to OKC, it is what it is. You know, we'll see him when we see him. And the biggest thing at the end of the day is that he is in a better place.
Appreciate you guys.
No doubt. Yes, sir.
Thanks, brother.
All right, Smitty, thanks very much. Well, you know the Rocket philosophy. It's pretty easy, pretty simple, right? And the numbers bear it out. Top 2 in the NBA in three-point field goal attempts the last 5 seasons. First 4 of those 5 times. Dead last in terms of mid-range attempts. Chris Paul was the best mid-range shooter in the NBA last season. Obviously, he can tweak some of that. The bigger question, guys, is who's going to have the ball in his hands, and what's the ratio going to be in terms of who's handling the ball when?
I'll let you take that one first, because he's Coach James.
Yeah.
It's me interesting. I think that Chris Paul will be really good for James because James's problem he has at times is when things go really bad, he starts shutting it down. We saw it last year in the last game against the Spurs. We've actually saw him do it again in the 6th game we played in LA, the Clippers, and he gets all flustered. Chris Paul will do whatever it takes to win. He'll push James beyond his comfort zone because there are times, Zeke, when everybody's been there and you play like you're like so frustrated, everything, but you got to fight through that. And then sometimes you got to put your head down and just start swinging. He did the opposite. He just went like, he'd do this. I think Paul would be good for him in that. As far as handling the ball, they're both going to have to sacrifice. Any championship caliber team, guys make sacrifices. We made the sacrifices years ago in Boston. I know when Vinnie Johnson got it going, sometimes you happened to be on the bench when Vinnie would get hot as heck.
I was mad.
Yeah. But I tell you what,
put me back in.
Exactly. But you went, hey, Vinny's got it rolling, you know. And so the object is to win the game. They both got to get past individual statistics and get into winning games. They have a chance. It's a very interesting team for me to watch this show. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's interrupt this conversation for just a moment, get you to Oklahoma City. The league MVP, Russell Westbrook, is sitting down here on Media Day Monday. He's got a new teammate, Carmelo Anthony. Maybe you heard about this over the weekend. Carmelo on Friday, at least it was reported on Friday, added the Oklahoma City Thunder to a list of, well, one at that point, teams that he was willing to go to. I guess it was up to 2, then 3 with Oklahoma City. And then it was the next day that the Thunder were able to make the deal and land a 10-time All-Star to pair along with Russell Westbrook and Paul George. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Westbrook and more from the Thunder Media Day here on Media Day 20.